This is Pav Bambra here for PSB Sports. I'm at the Gallantly Golovkin versus Ggg-Brook. First press conference here in London. The New York one was a few weeks ago. With me, I've got promoter Eddie Hearn. How you doing? You all right?
Very well, mate. Very well. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well, as always. Firstly, question on everyone's mind: why is Ggg-Brook here and not Chris Eubank Jr., the guy fighting Golovkin?
Well, I think we've spoken enough about that one. I mean, basically because Ggg-Brook was serious, and I don't know how serious the Eubanks were. I think Junior was serious, but Senior did his best to lose that fight, and in stepped Ggg-Brook, who, you know, as I said in the press conference, probably holds the world record for accepting the Gennady Golovkin fight so quickly. He's been waiting for a long time to do something special. He's really gone for the jugular here in terms of outrageous moves. But we're so excited because we see how good Ggg-Brook is. We know what he's capable of. We know the struggles at 147 pounds. Yeah, I would have liked this at 154, maybe 158. But 160 was the number, and he's still got a lot of weight to lose to make 160. And everyone that knows him, who sparred him at 11.6, they know. You know, they know how big and strong he is. If he was fighting Daniel Jacobs, if he was fighting Billy Joe Saunders, most people would say he's the favourite in those fights. He's not. He's fighting Gennady Golovkin, and that's why he's the underdog. But, you know, I think people should get behind him, and the problem is, not a problem because it's great, in British boxing right now, you've got 14 world champions. So in the old days, even when Kel won the belt, I think we had 4 world champions. And when you won a world title, you were a star. Now, if you win a world title, you're in the club. So to do something great, to stand out from those 14, you have to land a major achievement. Whether it's, you know, Joshua winning the world title in 16 fights, whether it's Fury beating Klitschko, whether it's Frampton at the weekend with a great win, Crolla trying to unify against Linares. Everyone's sort of trying to go to the next level. This next level is way beyond those. This is the biggest win there'll be from a British fighter in a fight like this for many years. And he's just trying to do something great. Because if you're not a world champion at the moment, commercially, in boxing, you have a limited value. Once you become world champion, great. But like I said, in the old days, if you become world champion, wow, he's world champion. Now it's like, well done, mate, you're world champion too. What are you going to do now? He's won the title, he's defended it 3 times, he wants to do something great. And that's why he made the decision to fight Triple G.
I saw that, I think, 30-second HBO preview you guys did, and Tom Loeffler, I think, probably couldn't have put it any better. You've got the best welterweight in the world against the best middleweight in the world. What can obviously, you're a promoter, you've got to sell the fight. What can the fans expect to see on September 10th with these 2 kingpins of each division going at it?
Well, I think you're going to see drama, as Gennady said, big drama show. I love that. And you're going to see extraordinary power, extraordinary skill, extraordinary speed, and I really believe you're going to see an upset. I think that there are many things that I don't think their camp will prepare themselves for, put it that way. And they can be small things. You know, they can be 1%ers, 2%ers. But when you're in a game like this with so much skill and power and things that can happen on the turn of a coin, those little percentages make a huge difference. And I know Kel's the underdog in this fight, but I'm so confident, the team are so confident. And he's not going into this fight a beaten man. So many fighters have boxed Golovkin, and you can see him almost waiting for the power, like, you know, and I don't blame him, by the way, but Kel's not going to do that. He's going to go in there, he's going to try and be first to the jab, be first to the right hand, and he'll have a game plan of how to beat him. Can he pull it off? September the 10th is the only time we'll find out.
Sounds great, and of course, you know, in general, Eddie, with obviously Golovkin's usually in the US market, isn't he? He fights out there. You're close to Haymon and so on and so forth. Obviously, his original investment was that, I think he was invested $500 million, wasn't it? His original investment, and there's a rumor in America when I get asked to go on American podcasts, they say that apparently his investment is now down to $80 million. So, what is the situation with Haymon? Because he's got all these contracts all over America with ESPN, NBC, so on and so forth. The investment's gone from $500 million to $82 million. He's lost a lot of money. I don't know how much he made. But what is going on there? Because he is a huge stable of fighters. So what's going on in the Haymon market?
I don't know. I mean, you know, there's all kinds of rumours, but who knows the truth? The truth is probably, I mean, Haymon's a very smart man. He's not an idiot who's just going to go and blow a fund without any kind of logic. But there's trial and error on all new models, and I think the original model was wrong. It was liquidated. There was too many fights, and when you try and put on too many fights as a promoter, they're not good enough because you're spreading yourself too thin. I think they had too many broadcasters, too many fighters, too many events, and I think now what they're doing, which will make sense, is probably to consolidate. I think, you know, what we're finding speaking to them is they're looking to send their fighters a lot more, you know, because they can't service them in America. Yeah, no, I'm talking about the smaller guys, you know, guys that might not have as much commercial ability and so forth. And you'll see the bigger fights get made. I mean, you know, people criticise Al Haymon, but when you look at probably the last two offerings, which was Porter against Thurman and Frampton against Santa Cruz, you got two really good fight nights there. So, you know, I'm sure Al Haymon is not finished, but he has to get the model right. And I think if they consolidate, they've got some great fighters. Try and make the super fights. The great thing is at the moment is it's a dick measuring contest, right? So like between us, between Haymon, between Top Rank, between Golden Boy, and luckily for fans, ego plays a big part. So when I go and make Brook Golovkin, everyone says, right, what are we going to do? Frank Warren will say, right, make that fight. And the fighters, like I said, becoming a world champion is a great achievement, means very little now in British boxing because of how fruitful it is. So you've got to do something great. But, you know, Haymon has a huge amount of power, huge amount of fighters to service, and he has a problem because I don't know how he will service those fighters. Just probably like I don't know how we're going to service our fighters. Only thing is he's got 6 times the amount.
Right, no, absolutely, I understand. And
but if he's down to his last 82 million, my heart bleeds.
Right, yeah. Because obviously the investment was 500 mil.
Yeah.
Rumoured, but yeah.
I mean, I was being sarcastic. Yeah, okay. You know, being down to your last 82 million is not the worst position to be in. But
obviously, you had Leeds on the weekend. Pretty good show. Obviously, Warrington defeated Highland. Highland didn't weight. You had White defeated David Allen. Heavyweights right now are big. Anthony Joshua, what is the situation with him? I know he's having a well-deserved rest. Yeah. Any ideas on the next opponent? Will he be going to America with the Showtime deal you have now? What's the situation?
He won't be next, but, you know, who knows what will happen in the future. 3 guys, probably. Parker, Stiverne, Pulev. I think you're likely to see the next opponent coming from those 3. He likes Parker. We'd like to get that one out of the way, I think. November sometime. Could be early, could be late. But probably over the next 2 weeks, we'll get that secure.
Sounds good. So the next 2 weeks, and probably the O2 Arena once again.
Maybe we might go to Manchester this time. You know, I mean, there's only really 2 arenas in the winter that can service Joshua. That's the O2 and the MEN. Right. So, you know, we're looking at those at the moment, and tough to get a date, as always, in those arenas. But, you know, I think those 3 provide very suitable tests. The feedback I'm getting generally is they're all acceptable, which is very difficult to get anything accepted these days with the boxing fans. Yeah, sure. And I think 3 very good fights for Anthony Joshua.
Update in general on the whole stable. September 24th, Crolla Linares. Any other news? Tell us, Burns, Bellew, so on and so forth going forward. Yeah,
I mean, when you look at the start, you got September the 10th, Brook against Golovkin. September 24th, Crolla against Linares with Burton, Buglioni, and other big fights on that card as well. October the 1st, you've got Bramer against Cleverly. October the 8th, you'll probably get Burns in Glasgow. October the 15th, you'll probably get Bellew defending. So, you know, all of a sudden you've got 5 fight nights there in the first, 7 weeks, 2 unified championships and 3 world title nights. So that's where we're at. And I think I said it before, I think every Saturday night fight night in the new season will be world championship boxing. It has to be because of the depth of the stable. So great time for fight fans.
Quick word on Frampton, Santa Cruz on the weekend.
A fantastic performance. I mean, people seem to think I have voodoo dolls of Carl Frampton at home and stick, but the fact is it doesn't matter who it is. I respect any man that goes out and tries to do something extraordinary. And I always felt it was a 50-50 fight. But to go out, to get the win out there, I think it's a wonderful performance, wonderful achievement. Although he likes to call me a prick behind my back, Shane McGuigan, I think he's a great trainer, and I think he has a great rapport with his fighters. I'm actually pleased for Barry McGuigan. I know what it means to a close team. So when I see the reactions when they get the points win, I felt that as well. So I actually feel warmth for them rather than coldness, although people probably don't think that. So I take my hat off to Carl Frampton. You know, we're looking at getting that Ggg rematch now with Frampton. You've got the Selby fight. I would guess he has a rematch clause against Santa Cruz as well. So, but it doesn't matter because he's now, you know, he's taken that next step. You know, he was one of the club. Yeah. Now he's surpassed that club, and that's what everybody else in that club is trying to do. Just like Crolla Linares, just like Ggg-Brook, just like Fury did beating Klitschko. So, you know, you've got to keep pushing yourself, and I think that's why it's a great time for fight fans because promoters and fighters are trying to outdo everyone. and what you're going to get from there is great fights.
So you said there you're trying to get the Quigg rematch. So that means Quigg's moving up to featherweight then?
He will do to fight Frampton. You know, I won't go too much into the contractual situation, but you know, that fight should happen and should happen next. So you know, we'll be pushing for that.
It's going to be a great fight, Eddie. Thank you so much once again for your time. All the best. I'll see you soon.